Welcome to the Southwestern Energy Balanced Scorecard presentation created by Melissa Knudsen, Brendan Sullivan, and Thomas Woolman. This is Melissa, and I will be narrating this presentation. To start, I will review the Balanced Scorecard concept. After that, I will discuss the SWN Balanced Scorecard. The concept of the Balanced Scorecard was originated by Robert Kaplan and David Norton. It is the basis of a performance management framework. This framework aids in translating strategy into operational terms. Consequently, the Balanced Scorecard has a strategic focus. In addition to the traditional financial measures, non-financial measures are included in this framework. As a result, this methodology provides a balanced view of company performance. The Balanced Scorecard is a tool for clarifying, communicating, aligning, measuring, and reviewing the company's strategy. The Balanced Scorecard has 4 perspectives: financial, customer, internal business processes, and learning and growth. The financial perspective addresses the question, how should we appear to our shareholders? The customer perspective asks, how should we appear to our customers? The internal business processes perspective queries, what business processes must we excel at? Finally, the learning and growth perspective asks, how will we sustain our ability to change and improve? The Balanced Scorecard provides several competitive advantages. A few of these include aligning performance measures with strategy, improved communication and understanding of the strategy, continual measurement and evaluation, improved cooperation, decisions, processes, and identify best practices. For the rest of the presentation, I will focus on how the Balanced Scorecard applies to SWN strategy. First, let's review our guiding principles.
The success of the company comes entirely from a driving curiosity and an environment that fosters idea generation and creativity and innovation.
One of the things that I'm most proud of is our reputation for being a company that does what it says it's going to do.
People are our greatest asset.
You have to be a risk taker, and you have to be a bit of a dreamer.
Take a chance. Something could happen from it.
We're always looking for opportunities to make a difference for our company.
Ultimately, the results are what are creating the value.
We're going to grow value for the company.
There is probably no better mission to have as a company than to supply energy for the country.
Our strategy is our well-known formula: the right people doing the right things, wisely investing the cash flow from the underlying assets will create value plus. Our formula has been in place since 1999. As touched on previously, the Balanced Scorecard can be used to promote, measure, and review our formula. This is the overall SWN strategy map, broken out by the 4 perspectives. We have identified 3 objectives for each perspective, which I will discuss in more depth. This slide provides a more detailed view of our strategy. In addition to the objectives introduced on the prior slide, here we have identified initiatives, measures, and targets for each of the 4 perspectives. This is an overall view of the SWN Balanced Scorecard. The scorecard lists measures, November data, a monthly target, year-to-date data, a year-to-date target, and a performance icon. The performance icons allow you to quickly identify satisfactory, tentative, and underperforming areas. Further, you can drill into each measure to perform more detailed analysis. Now, let's look at the perspectives in more detail. Our financial objectives are improve competitiveness, increase reserves and production, and increase shareholder value. To achieve these objectives, we have identified these three initiatives: reduce back-office expenditures, aggressive drilling and exploration, and reduce costs. To measure our performance toward meeting our objectives, we will focus on earnings per employee with a goal of $800,000, gross margin with a goal of 80%, and finding and development costs measured in dollars per MCFE with a goal of $1 per MCFE. This is the financial section of the SWN Balanced Scorecard. The scorecard makes it easy to identify finding and development costs as an area that needs attention, while earnings per employee and gross margin are on target. Here are a couple examples of graphs that are available when you drill into the scorecard. On the left, we see earnings per employee. Ideally, a company wants the highest revenue per employee possible, as it denotes higher productivity. SWN shows itself solidly in the upper tier of its industry, and far above the industry average for this sector. On the right, we can see that SWN is within the average trend of its competitors and the industry as a whole for quarterly revenue growth, and it exceeds all of its competitors except CHK for gross profit margin. Here are two more examples of drillable data. The chart on the left compares SWN against its competitors for several key financial indicators. On the right, the closing stock price chart displays the final closing prices on the stock market for 2011. Here, SWN is again compared to its peer group, as well as the S&P 500 index. SWN shares are shown to be performing on a one-year annual basis within the middle of its peer group. WNB is significantly exceeding the peer group's performance, and the S&P 500 is lagging the peer group slightly. Similar charts and graphs are available for all four perspectives in each measure. We will look at one more example at the end of the presentation that includes target data. Next, let's look at our customer objectives. Differentiate ourselves to our customers, increase education on fracking, and quickly deliver to customers. These initiatives will help us meet our objectives. They include maintain environmentally respectful position, work with nonprofit organizations to increase transparency and education, and quick and efficient completion of contracts. To evaluate our performance, we will track percentage of water coming from local waterways with a target of 5%, voluntary reporting of frac fluid composition with a target of 100%, and time from contract agreement delivery with a goal of 3 days. Here is the customer section of the scorecard. As you can see, we are ending the year on target for all three measures. The next perspective is internal processes. Our internal objectives are improve natural gas quality, remove loss leakage of gas, and improve exploration success. The internal initiatives we identified include focus exploration on regions with improved gas quality, utilize improved pipeline technology, and implement a portfolio optimization process. The measures and targets for the internal perspective are BTU per MCFE, a measure of energy per volume, with a target of BTU area adjustments of less than 1%, leakage with a target of leakage less than 1% volume, and reduction in time for new wells with a target of 30 days. Looking at the internal section of the scorecard, we are on target for BTU per MCFE adjustment, but underperforming for the year. Leakage is on target, and although new well cycle time is high for November, we are still on target for the year. Finally, let's look at the learning and growth objectives, which include enhance our efficiencies, increase employee productivity, and increase employee retention. The associated initiatives are 8 days to drill, right people doing the right things, and alumni program. Recall that the alumni program is a program we started this year to reach out to our former employees for open positions, employee referrals, and general advice. We will track our performance with these 3 measures and targets. Reduction in time to drill with a goal of 3 days. Revenue per compensation dollar with a goal of $29.05, and employee retention with a goal of 80%. The Learning and Growth section of the scorecard shows that we are on target to meet our year-end goal of 8 days to drill. Here, the target is shown divided by 12 months. Revenue per compensation dollar was off in November, but we are still on target for the year. Employee retention was up in November, but is slightly under target for the year. Here is another example of a graph available when drilling into the scorecard. In this example, we see not only past performance for days to drill, but our target of 8 days for 2011. Thank you for your attention during this presentation. I hope you now have a better understanding of the balanced scorecard and what it can do for SWN. As you have seen, it is very easy to identify where the company is on target and which areas need attention. If you have questions or would like to discuss this topic further, please feel free to contact Brendan, Tom, or myself.